Now, hard to believe, 30 years since Peter Andre released his first ever album and took us by storm, didn't it?
I can't believe it at all. In fact, looking at Peter Andre, it's hard to believe he's even 30 at all.
No, I love that.
But you really have been on a roller coaster of a career ride, haven't you?
And it would not be an anniversary without a little blast in the past. So, it's over to you, Richard Madeley.
Peter Andre, he's at number 3 with the hit single Mysterious Girl. Everything seems to be going for the Australian singer, but he really should do something about that beer belly.
For that video, presumably you'd been in some kind of training. I mean, you must have to work out a tremendous amount to get an abdomen like that, to be frank.
Well, thank you.
Well, yeah, you must.
And you
really.
must work it.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you saying that underneath that jumper it's not quite as Lonnie Donegan-ish?
What I'm saying, it's not for early morning viewing, I think.
Well, it better be, because he'll be singing for us live at the end of the show, so we want to see a little bit.
I stop and stare at you, walking on the shore. I try to concentrate, my mind wants to explore. The tropical scent of you takes me up above. And girl, when I look at you, oh, I fall in love.
Oh, it's so lovely to see, isn't it lovely?
So fun.
That's pretty much the whole interview. I mean, that's kind of all we've got time for now. We just thought we'd replay your interview.
Thanks for that, guys. See you later. See you in 30 years.
Oh, I love the little bit of flirting with the Finnegan there as well.
Wow.
I mean,
Back in the day,
old were you
aren't
there,
She was a dish,
roughly?
mate. She was a dish.
That was 1996 up there in Liverpool this morning.
Do you know, it's mad. When you showed that clip with me, I was just going to say Junior, I thought it literally reminded me of Junior, how he is now.
Just like
the very last one. Yeah, poor thing, I've been talking to him about that. No, but they were great days, just looking back at all that. And do you know, Phillip used to interview me 20-odd years ago. And when I came out of the jungle and I sort of came back into it years later, I didn't realise he was the same person that I knew all those years ago. So I just felt like he was a new person I got to know.
Really?
And then I found out that I'd known him from years ago.
Pete, remind us how it all started for you way back when. So you did a talent show in Australia, right? And then you got signed off the back of that?
Yeah, so there was... The guy that was on the show was a guy called Molly Meldrum, and he was the equivalent to, say, Simon here. But he was also a journalist out there. So Michael Jackson, Prince, Madonna, they would only ever do interviews with Molly. So he was like this god in Australia. And he happened to be a judge on that talent show that night. And I remember the talent show was called New Faces, and I remember being so scared because I heard he's going to be judging. And I thought, you know, if I could just do a good enough performance just to have it on videotape, for those of you that know videotape, you'll know, then I could send it off to people. But he happened to be on and he offered me a recording deal live on TV, which had never happened before, and I don't think it's happened since in Australia. And he may have regretted it, but he had no choice because he said it live.
So then how did you end up over here?
Amazing.
What was the journey then?
So then I toured, I released music, a song called Give Me a Little Sign, which was huge in Australia, and then I toured with Madonna, and which was thanks to Molly.
I mean, that must have been
I know, it was incredible. Stadium tours, I mean, it was incredible. And Bobby Brown,
I love it.
which was amazing. You know, I was such a fan. And then I came to England to record my second album for Australia, but my plan was always that I would hopefully release something here. And then I came here and it just... we released Mysterious Girl in '95, it didn't do very well. And then we re-released it in '96 and it just went crazy. So I was so lucky.
Was that straight after The Jungle when it went crazy?
That was the third time. That was the third time it got released. I know.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, talk about how can you flog a dead horse?
So when it did really well in '96, were you then just catapulted in that classic time of you go and do the schools tours, you'd go and do the nightclubs, you know, you just you'd be out there all the time doing everything?
Well, yeah, because that's where I met Claire Powell, who's still my manager nearly 30 years later.
Yeah. Wow.
And Mary Claire, who's here today, who actually was doing the Ms. Roadshows, and I was doing the Ms. Roadshows. The OB on Big Breakfast, doing the outside broadcasting.
Yes, I remember that.
Because Claire said to me, I want to manage you, but even though you're doing well with music, we've got to get you in other areas of entertainment. And that's when I started doing a bit of presenting, all from way back then. So it's been incredible. I'm so buzzed.
Do you just love all parts of it? The telly, the theatre, the music, or do you favour something over the other? Do you favour music over everything else, or...?
No, I think I love all of it. And I think that when we grew up and we were watching the greats, I remember they said you have to know the big three. You have to be able to sing, dance and act. You can't just do one of them.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to present, you've got to be able to do... Yeah, so we learnt that way.
You are a triple threat, though, aren't you? You are.
But then
Triple threat.
It's that lovely story you speaking to Gary Barlow, and he said, "Why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing music? You should be doing, you know."
Yeah. So Gary reached out to me about 3 years ago for the crooner sessions he was doing online.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we did this duet together, signed, sealed, and he rang me afterwards. He said, "What are you doing?" Because I played him some of the songs I'd written, and I said, "I just like writing for other people now." And he said, "No." He said, He basically said, "Get off your ass."
Yeah.
And do it. Well, am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
Oh, you said it.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
If there's anyone else, but because it's you.
Yeah, thank you. And so, but it was done in a nice way. And so I started writing, and then we wrote some songs together and got in with Ricky Wilson and with Lady Leash and with Wes Nelson, and I've created some really good stuff. So that'll be later this year.
Have fun. But tell us about this tour. So Peter's UK tour, Peter Andre 30. So this is an intimate tour you're doing around theatres, right?
Yes,
It's interactive, isn't it?
Yeah, we've picked 5 dates, and I wanted to do this first to kick off this whole 30 years. And it's basically... Bruce Springsteen does this in America, which you've seen.
Incredible. Best show I've ever
good?
seen. Best show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and there's other artists doing it in America.
I know Gary Barlow did one, didn't he?
a different stage, which is excellent. And it's that kind of thing where I've got Gary Lloyd, who is the man responsible for Thriller in the West End. We've teamed up together to create this unique little show. It's almost like your life story, but through theatre.
So is it like you're acting your own life?
Yes.
That's
from the
amazing.
beginning. I mean, you know, it could be from when you can transport people back to 1973, and it's a really amazing little experience, and we're working on it together. I mean, the people that come to these first 5 are going to be part of the birth of something that we can hopefully tour for years. So it's a really, really good thing. You should come.
I'm so excited about this.
Where
I heard about Gary Barlow's, I missed it. I was really, really upset. So I'm
Gary's was
definitely
great.
going to come to yours.
So it's like an intimate evening of music, theatre, storytelling, right?
Yeah.
So how you started and so forth.
Yeah.
So what cities are you going to?
So we're doing the first 5, and right now I can't think of them all
Oh, sorry, I didn't
in
want
my
to put you on the
head,
spot.
because, you know, I'm
Tickets available, Peter
I'm
Andre
getting
30.
older. I can't remember all the dates.
I can't believe you're nearly 50 next month. Is that
Yeah,
right?
but I like the 30 celebration sounds so much better. And technically,
You know
I'm
what? You
49.
framed it
You look
so
amazing.
well.
49. I'm getting past this. Yeah, if you go to peterandre30.com,
Yeah.
that will give you all the information. But I'd love you to come. You know I'm going to invite you guys live on air now.
Love to.
And you're going to say, I'd love to come. And then
we never get invited.
Then they won't actually come.
Tell us about the diet and nutrition book really quickly as well.
Yeah, so it's called It's Fine. I've been living this lifestyle for the last 10 or so years, and people, you know, say to me, are you always in the gym? Do you watch what you eat? And I don't watch what I eat. I love my food. Basically, losing weight by eating the food you love. The guy I've teamed up with, Ben Smith, he lost 10 stone.
What don't you
Wow.
eat then?
I eat everything. There's nothing off plan, but it's how you do it. It's how you balance it over the week. I say treat yourself every single day.
I mean...
Don't wait till a
I do
Saturday.
it every hour.
Well, fine. Yeah, I mean, there is a way of doing it, and it's pretty simple science, calories in, calories out. But rather than doing this, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, it's a lifestyle plan, it's brilliant, the app's doing well, but the book's out in June.
Good for you,
Brilliant, man.
Peter.
Like we said, Peter Andre 30 kicks off in March. Tickets available, 3 to Andre 30.
50 next year.
Thank you so much, Peter.